Hey, this is little Elsie. Elsie's 18. Today is April 28th, 2018. This is my fourth attempt to make this video. Having lots of issues today. Okay, this is it. No matter what happens, this is it. I did want to tell you about water and how, it's energy, right? It's complete energy. When you drink water, it gives you energy. Even on an empty stomach, drink water, you'll have some more energy. This is what I like to add to my water. I get it from Walmart, True Lime or True Lemon. Sometimes I mix it. It's really good to mix. And so I like to drink that in my water. Today I found a video with a lady called Charlotte Gerson. And come on, girl. See, I'm really having issues today. I don't know what the deal is, but let me just start it. Okay, so it's called Live Foods for Winning Energy Without Drugs by Charlotte Gerson. It's on YouTube. I would love for y'all to go and watch her. It's really interesting. I thought I saw it just today, and I said, let me watch that, and it's so interesting. I wanted to make a video with my exercise because it's all about what we eat and our whole body and taking care of ourselves and really knowing what's good for us. And she knows a lot. So listen to her while you do this. And if I mess up, please forgive me. Just follow along and I'll try to correct any issues I might have. And so here we go. Here we go.
We are all interested in health. And even when it comes to youth, it's a very sad thing to contemplate that the medical pharmaceutical trusts that are making billions and trillions on disease and drugging people, that only about 15 years ago, it was that cancer was the #1 killer disease of children under 17. Now, cancer is the #1 killer, exceeding accidents, which at that time was the #1. It's now, cancer is the #1 killer of children. And that's not acceptable. And there's a reason. And I hope to be able that by the end of this evening, you will fully understand what causes cancer, which will put you way ahead of every doctor or student of any kind of medical treatment. Because it's really simple. For instance, the human body has enormously powerful defenses against disease, but specifically against cancer, because it's a killer. The body has the immune system, the enzyme system, the hormone system, the mineral balances. It has the essential organs, all of which together form the body's defenses. And when they are functioning, you are well. Cancer is impossible. Let me repeat that. When those systems work, cancer is impossible. So you have to do quite a bit first to destroy and damage and weaken those defenses. So how are you going about it? I'd like to not blame you at all. It isn't your fault. The medical pharmaceutical people are very happy to see you ill, because that's the only way to make money. Frankly, at my age, and you all know my age now, I have no arthritis, I have no high blood pressure, I have no osteoporosis, I have no heart cholesterol or any of those problems. All my tests are perfectly within normal range. How come? I eat only organic. I eat vegetarian. I get away from all processed foods. I eat all fresh, living, organic fruits and vegetables. But that's not enough. For instance, I have a little box here which you may recognize, even if it's a distance. It's nothing more or less than the box that the Colgate toothpaste comes in. And it's fluoridated. Did you know that every toothpaste, no matter just Colgate, any toothpaste that has fluoride in it has the following warning printed on the box as well as on the tube? Did you know there was a warning on those tubes? A lot of people didn't. I'm glad that this group is a little better educated. And let me just quick read you. It's in tiny, tiny print, so I just printed it out for myself so I could read it easily. It says, warnings. Keep out of the reach of children under 6 years of age. Don't you want to teach your kids to brush their teeth? Keep out of you can't give them toothpaste. But you're told that they need the fluoride so that they get healthy teeth and no cavities, aren't you? Well, listen to this. If more than is used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, mind you, kids don't have the capability yet of spitting out this toothpaste. If it's accidental, but they flavor it like candy, they make it look like candy. If it's accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact the Poison Control Center right away. Did you know there was poison? They mark it, they tell you so. Most people don't read this. A couple of years ago, I had the same box, and I had an audience of larger group than this even, of about 1,200 people. And I asked for a show of hands who read it and who kept it out of reach of children. Not one single hand went up. People don't believe that there's poison in something that they put in their mouth, never mind 6-year-olds. How about you? Do you think it's good for you to put poison in your mouth? Even if you spit it out, the mouth and the mucous membrane in the mouth is highly absorptive, and you get this poison. Furthermore, dentists who are knowledgeable and honest will tell you that there is no proof that fluoride does anything to prevent cavities. On the contrary, there are 2 cities, for instance, Toronto and Vancouver in Canada. Toronto has long been fluoridated, Vancouver is not. Vancouver has healthier children with less cavities, and healthier adults, and healthier elderly people without the broken bones, because they get brittle and they cause damage. Hey, this isn't all. Children 2 to 4 use only a pea-sized amount and supervise the child's brushing and rinsing to minimize swallowing. They tell you don't swallow it, don't let your kids swallow it. It's poison. And if they do, contact the Poison Control Center. But they fluoridate your water. More than 52% of American states and cities have now fluoridated water. Why? It doesn't do a thing to help your teeth or your children's teeth. It is one of the most powerful poisons there are. It's highly toxic. It causes bones to be brittle, teeth to get blackened. And it damages your immune system, the very system that you need to keep you healthy and to help to fight infections and cancer. It's not just cancer. And now comes something else interesting. There was a professor of dentistry at Harvard University, worldwide recognized university, Harvard, who had an assistant who happened to be studying for a PhD. And this assistant was working on fluoridation and found a very heavy contact between boys, especially from Harvard, who were getting fluoridated water for several years also in their home states and hometowns, and a very nasty form of cancer called osteosarcoma. It's a bone cancer. It's painful and there's no cure, and chemo only worsens it, and chemo makes money for them. And she presented this to the professor by the name of Douglas, in case you run across it. I don't keep this secret. And what did he do with this tremendously important information that boys were getting sick and dying from the fluoridated water? What did he do? He hid it in a drawer way deep down under his desk. Nobody ever heard about it, as long as this woman was his assistant studying for her PhD. But then she got her PhD, stopped her connection, made herself private. She became in private practice, and she published this material that she found. Now here stands Harvard with egg in their faces. Their professor was hiding the fact that what he was promoting, fluoride, was killing young men miserably, in pain and misery. And then comes the upshot. Professor Douglas, it turned out, was paid by Colgate to promote fluoridation. And just so that, he showed that he really meant well, he gave $1 million for a new dental building at Harvard. Now, what professor do you know gets enough pay to donate $1 million? Colgate donated. Okay, so be careful. And I have another little bit of advice. If you're not going to read these warnings, first of all, don't ever buy anything or eat anything or feed your children anything or give them anything that has to have printed material on it that says what's in it. And God forbid, if there is something in that material, any words that you don't understand, or anything that you're not quite sure the good Lord put on the earth for us to eat, don't touch. Don't touch. Now comes something else interesting. In 1931, a professor and MD and PhD in Europe by the name of Otto Warburg got the Nobel Prize. And he showed, among other things, that cancer, the tissue, the malignant tissue, didn't use up in his lab, didn't use oxygen for survival. It uses fermentative metabolism, sugar metabolism, to survive. It doesn't work with oxygen, he found. And he also found that the human pH, meaning the acidity versus alkalinity in your bloodstream, a normal, good pH in a normal human body, the blood pH should be at 7.35. Say roughly 7.4. That's slightly alkaline. 7 is neutral. Anything below 7 is acid. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Now comes the important thing. Meat, fish, cheese, chicken, any animal product, milk, cheese, causes the pH to fall, causes acidity in the body. Unfortunately, the standard American diet is very high in animal proteins, and people pride themselves. They have plenty of money and they can afford meat and fish and chicken and eggs and all of those animal products. While the poor people in the so-called underdeveloped countries, they don't have that kind of money. They live on vegetables. We have a clinic in Mexico that runs on the Gerson therapy, and you go into the street markets, they use piles of fresh fruit and vegetables. And many of those farmers don't have enough money to spread chemicals. That's another problem. The artificial fertilizer. Artificial fertilizer has 3 minerals. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Well, that's nice. Problem. Plants, as well as vegetables, as well as animals, including ourselves. We need something like 52 different minerals. Where's the calcium and the magnesium and the manganese and the iron and the... Where's the calcium and the magnesium and the manganese and the iron and the iodine and I can't name them all. Missing. And when those things are missing, you're deficient. And when you're deficient, your body can't defend itself against germs or viruses or anything like that. Not only that, now on top of that, your diet is high in fats, in animal proteins, and salt. That's exactly what tumor cells require to survive. But it's worse, because what happens now, the body's pH, the blood pH, and the body must keep it in a very, very narrow range. And that pH falls. All of these animal products, including milk, which you think is alkaline, it's not, it's acid forming in the body. All of these animal products cause your pH to fall below 7 into the acid range. Now, when your blood goes to acid, it is incapable of carrying oxygen to your cells. And meantime, Otto Warburg has shown that the cell without oxygen goes into a lower form of metabolism, the fermentative metabolism, and the only thing cells can do with this fermentative metabolism, it can't do its job, the muscles can't contract, the nerves can't conduct, the eyes can't see, and so on. The only thing the tissues and cells can do with this fermentative metabolism is grow and split and grow and split and grow and split and grow and split. That's cancer. And don't tell me the people don't know that. For years, they've collected billions, and I'm afraid some of you have contributed billions to research in cancer. They know this, but it doesn't make money. The only thing that makes money in cancer is chemotherapy and drugs and poison. Essentially, that's what doctors are, drug pushers. Now, with the American diet being so high in animal products, in animal protein, the average American blood pH is below 7, is 6.8, and when it falls still further, your blood can't carry oxygen. And don't tell me the researchers don't know this. Because when researchers are done with malignant tissue that they've been playing around with in their laboratory and they want to kill it and get rid of it, they pass some oxygen over. The oxygen kills the malignant tissue. But your blood pH, when it goes too low, below 7, can't carry enough oxygen. So, And I'm going to have to tell you, essentially to keep well, to keep healthy, to keep your children well, I'm going to have to tell you again, do what Dr. Gerson said you must do. Eat fresh, eat living, eat organic, eat vegetarian. The vegetarian foods have the alkalinity. They keep the blood at the alkalinity that you need. They help the bloodstream carry oxygen. They help the defenses to be in place and stay in place. And you avoid the poisoning. And then comes something else. When the blood pH falls below 7, 6.8, 6.5, 6.6, you would die. Unless the blood defends itself. The blood has to do something. Your body has to fight it. Because at that low level of pH, you can't exist. So what does the blood have to do? If you continually keep your pH low, because you eat animal products, and your doctors don't tell you not to do that. They know full well. The body now has to absolutely, to survive, has to neutralize this acidity. And how does it do that? It needs calcium. So the doctors give you calcium pills, and like a good patient, you take the calcium and you're I'm taken care of. No way. The artificial calcium, anything that comes out of a laboratory, anything that comes out of a chemical factory, and that comes in pills and in caplets and I don't know what form and shape, it doesn't go into the system. The body needs living substances. Do you know where calcium can come from? The best sort of calcium, if you stop your kids from drinking milk, and they don't need milk, another thing too. Most children after the age of 2 don't have the milk digestive enzyme. They can't even handle it. And if you also give them meat or fish or chicken or eggs, they are much too high in protein. And their pH falls below 7. Now, the blood, in order to keep you well and to keep you living, has to provide itself with calcium. What does it do? It takes the calcium out of your bones. That's called osteoporosis. You'll see I have a straight back. I don't have osteoporosis. I don't have pains. I don't have a doctor. Okay. That's something else. When you go to a doctor with pain or symptom and you have a problem or you're bleeding, God forbid, or something like that, you expect the doctor to give you some pill or treatment or other to get you well. First, please let me tell you, Orthodox medicine has 2 important branches. One is for acute problems. You have an accident, God forbid you break something, you cut yourself, or you burn yourself. They're good at taking care of that. I don't argue that. They can set your bones. God forbid you have a bullet in your system or somebody stabs you or any of these terrible things happen. They do happen these days. They can help you. They fix you up. They can put your bones back together. That's fine. They do that. And I have no argument with that. Congratulations. But when it comes to chronic degenerative diseases, by definition, they are incurable. All of them. 1,500 of them. And then some. Now what do? What the doctors are taught in school is simply help to give the relief You have high blood pressure, here's a drug for high blood pressure. You have a heart problem, here's a drug for the heart problem. You have a bone problem, here's a problem. Arthritis. Do you remember the story of Vioxx? Vioxx was put on the market by Merck. And this was out about 3 years ago. Merck admitted that they were making over $2.5 billion on the sale of Vioxx. Vioxx, they also admitted, had killed worldwide 55,000 people. Vioxx was a pain relief for arthritis. What's arthritis? Simple. Excess protein. The protein turns into acidity. And you have phosphoric acid, and it causes inflammation of the bone, and then the body has to withdraw calcium, and between the withdrawing calcium and the bone, irritation and inflammation, and before you know it, you have arthritis. Do I have arthritis? No. I don't eat proteins. Animal proteins. It's very simple. It is so simple. And then comes another thing. Why don't I want to go in the hospital? Why don't I want to see a doctor? All medical drugs, bar none, all are liver toxic. Liver? The liver is the key organ. The liver is responsible for everything biochemically that happens in your body. And everything begins and ends in the liver. Everything. It's part of healing. It's part of producing all the nutrients your body needs everywhere. Hormones and sex and everything begins and ends in the liver. The liver is the key organ. The liver is a fantastic organ. Now you may have heard it said that the liver will filter your blood. It does that. But that's only one of the very, very many functions that the liver has. But the problem is that every medical drug, street drug, prescription drug, any drug whatsoever is liver toxic. You can't tell me that you don't hear drug ads on television all the time. You know that the United States is the only country, I believe there's one other country. It's either New Zealand or it's somewhere in the Pacific. There are 2 countries in the world that permit drugs to be advertised to the public directly. But they tell you the side effects. And the side effects are horrifying, including death. I get curious. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical degree. I learned everything I know firstly from my father, and then from working with other doctors who were healing cancer patients with the Gerson therapy. I have big fat books. One of them is called the Medical Diagnosis and Treatment. And it tells you just about every kind of disease. And then how it's being treated and the drugs that are used and what side effects they have and what final effects they have and all of that. And I look at these things. I read them. And I suggest you do some of that. I read them. So one of the things that started my father on the whole idea of healing was his own migraine headaches. They were genetic. His mother had migraine headaches. I had migraine headaches when I was 8 years old, if I drank milk. And he was very sick. By the time he was through internship and residency, he was sometimes laid up in bed 3 days a week in a darkened room and nauseated and terrible headache pains and unable to function. And he asked his doctors and teachers and professors, well, that's just reading up. There's no cure. You'll feel better when you're 55. But I'm 25. So he decided he had to find his own way, and he did. It took him a long time, but he finally found an obscure little Italian journal where there was an article about a woman who had changed her diet and improved her migraine. Diet? Never heard anything about diet in medical school. That was below the doctors. This is for the cook in the kitchen. That has nothing to do with a doctor. Well, anyway, he found what to do. And then he accidentally found that the diet he was using to control his migraines also controlled skin tuberculosis. And then later controlled other forms of tuberculosis. And as he was healing other people with all kinds of tuberculosis, especially the young people who had the so-called galloping tuberculosis, were dying. And he found that they responded to this nutritional diet, nutritional therapy for healing. Healing? No one talked to him about healing in medical school. Drugging. Healing? There's no such thing. Chronic degenerative disease just don't heal.
Well, we did it. We about watched half of it, and we'll watch the other half tomorrow. Or the next time I do this video, I'll make sure we started at 29:42. Let's get it to 30, and then I'll remember 30, right? So let's go ahead and finish this. Y'all did great today. Hope you enjoyed it, and just have a wonderful Sunday. And always keep Lord number one. All right, so here we go.
But you have to heal. And when you do it right, you can heal. And that's the key. So first thing, you got to eliminate the poisons. And then you say, okay, no fluoride. But there's so many other poisons. Tell you some other things.
All right, folks. You have a great day. Try to go to church. Peace.